And welcome to this edition of the Angels and Destiny show. Why is this show called this, you may ask me? So I'll tell you, the accepted meaning of angel is messenger, and the accepted meaning of destiny is to make firm establish. So my guests and I bring you messages to establish what you need to know in the present. And also, I like working with angels and the calmness they bring. I'd like to say thank you so much for watching the show live at a later date, as it means a lot to me to connect with like-minded people. Now, normally I have a guest, and although you can see Graham here, Graham is not the guest today. The reason being is I did have a guest booked, but due to various circumstances, including Mercury retrograde, I'm pretty sure, he was unable to make it. So Graham kindly offered to come and interview me. Obviously, I've been doing this show now since 2018. So there may be things you don't know about me because you might just be new here. So I'll just give you a brief summary of how I'd normally introduce the show. So no, actually, I'll go do the bit I normally do when Graham says introduce yourself. So I'm going to let Graham take over my show, technically.
Thank you, Ray, and hi everybody. My name's Graham Williamson. I'm an international evidential medium and psychic. And Ray and I do shows together, every month, and we have lots of fun. And we've become friends. And when I found out today that Ray's guest was somehow not coming in, as she said, I volunteered because this gives me an opportunity as well as you to find a little bit more about Ray. I know her as being very inquisitive, very intuitive, a very good card reader. But I wanted to know the person behind all that as well. So this is our chance. If you've got a question, stick it up and I'll ask her. So, Ray, what made you go into angel cards?
Oh, what made me go into angel cards? That would be the angels.
It's you've got to be a bit more specific here, Gal. You know, this is an informative interview.
Okay, so when I was, I come from a spiritual background. Where my mum and my aunt, my mum did palmistry and psychometry, and my aunt read tarot cards. And as I was growing up, and we went to spiritualist churches, and as I was growing up, I dabbled in tarot cards and runes. And I was fairly good at it, not brilliant, but I was fairly good at it. And I kind of like dabbled on and off with tarot through the years. But when angels sort of like came into my life, I kind of like felt more drawn towards angel oracle cards than I did towards tarot cards. It was like something had shifted, and it was like the tarot cards didn't resonate with me as much as they used to, whereas the oracle cards actually resonated a lot more with me. And I found that my intuition and the guidance I got through the oracle cards was so much better than it was through the tarot. So I kind of like switched. So I've still got some tarot decks. I don't actually use tarot now. I just stick to the angels and oracle cards.
Oh, cool. What would you define angels to be?
Oh, what does define angels to be? To me, personally, they are a energy form. They are part of the divine, the same as we're all part of the divine. So technically, we are angels and they are us, but they've never had a human experience, and they're another part of us, another part of the divine, who can help and guide us and want to help and guide us. You know, they don't judge us, or see our bad faults. They just love us unconditionally, and they just want to help us so much. And we're really bad at not asking. You know, we should be asking them for help all the time. That is what they want us to be. That is what they want us to be doing. Angels are there to help us raise our vibration, to come back to the divine, to come back to source. So to me, angels are just everything that can be, that are just unconditional love, ready to help you at the slightest second.
Because I've doubled a little bit in what you do as well. But Do you believe that some of the angels have been on this earth or not?
Well, I don't use the word believe or beliefs. And the reason I don't use that word is because in the middle of it is the word lie.
I'll rephrase it then. Do you know if they've been on this earth or not?
According to what I've read, two were, and they were Archangel Metatron and Archangel Sandalphon, and they were Enoch and it's gone out of my head now, which it would do, of course. So yes, the two archangels have had a human experience, but every other archangel has not had a human experience. Has not had a human experience. They came from the divine as angelic energies, not to have a human incarnation, so that they wouldn't have all the issues and the problems and the ideas and the structures that we've got. So they would be pure, and they'd be able to see the whole picture rather than just little segments as we as humans tend to see.
Well, I'm glad you answered it in that way, because I've come up with a phrase for a long time now about deja vu. And with the way you interpret that, and knowing that some of the angels have been on this earth, what do you think of the term deja vu spiritually?
I think it's just us playing with dimensions, because we exist on more than one dimension at a time, and our future is happening at our present, and our present is happening the same as our past. So sometimes when we do something or we see something or something happens, we go, oh my God, I'm sure I've seen Dan, I said this before. Well, technically we have. It's just that we've kind of like caught up in that loop thing, that it's come together as one. So deja vu does exist, but it is as in different another dimension, another realm that's just caught up. We've just caught up with it in this realm and dimension, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It's amazing how similar like energies are. And I know that sounds point, but a lot of people don't understand what energy is. And I know from your experience, what type of energies make you who you are?
Ooh. What type of energies? I would say only my energy. My energy from source, the energy that I chose to come into this incarnation with, is the energy that I come from. So I'm the same energy. I come from the same energy as you, and from everyone who's watching this, from the same energy as source, the divine. But I'm just a part of it that resonates and vibrates on a slightly different dimension than to you, which is why I have my own things that I have to work and deal through, and you have your own things that you have to work and deal through. So I am the energy of everyone and everything, but I'm also walking my own individual path on that from that energy.
Oh, that's lovely. It shows from your answers the lifestyle of who you are, who you've become. But what made you actually change from, like everybody else's, learning about the spirit? I know you said you're coming from a spiritual family to do with tarot and stuff, but what made you actually decide to follow that rather than doing the same as everybody else? I know you said at the beginning,
Yeah.
on Facebook, I think more backwards.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It was like I was being guided to do it. I actually watched a friend of mine, a previous guest on my show. called Emily Harrison, who works in the Akashic Records. She's actually been just recently interviewed with interviews with extra dimensionals on Gaia TV. And I watched her episode earlier today. And there's something she said in there that kind of like really resonated with me. And that was changing timelines. So we all come in with an idea of what we're going to be doing. You know, before we're born, we choose and we decide what we're going to be doing in this lifetime. It's just the great beauty is we get here and we forget about it until we remember it, which is part of my job, is helping people remember their divine presence and why they're here. But what happens is you can start off on doing one thing. So as she said, you know, she left her little farming town, you know, community, and went to Hollywood to become an actress, which she did for 20 years. But various synchronicities ended up her doing meditation, which led her onto the Akashic Records. So it was like a timeline shift. So she was still doing what she would have done, but she's now doing it differently. So technically, when I was younger, I was going to be an actress. That was what I was going to be. That's what I was going to be doing. You know, that was my life. That was all I ever saw myself doing. But circumstances never worked out that way. So I ended up doing it as an amateur rather than professionally. But it took me on a different timeline to actually start doing the things I do now. You know, and it started with, you know, the life-changing trip I took to Peru, angels, and it just all sort of like snowballed from there. So there was no definite, oh, I'm going to do this. It was just the way that life kind of like, when it's like, okay, we're going to take you off that timeline of being an actress because that will probably take you longer to get to where you are now. And you'll be meeting different people. Whereas if we take you on this timeline, you'll be meeting the right people that are going to help you evolve and be able to help other people, if that makes sense.
Which is good, because what do you aim to complete?
My aim to complete my mission, if I want to, that's the mission I took. I took that mission. Is basically to help as many people remember their divine presence, their spiritual path, why they were here, and actually start doing it, using their own intuition, their own gifts, knowing who they truly are, why they're here, and what they are doing. You know, that is what I'm here. That is what I'm here to do, and I've got to do it in this lifetime because this is my last ever lifetime that I'm coming back to Earth in human form. You know, I've kind of like had over 300 odd past lives here, there are other dimensions, other planets. And I'm tired now. You know, I kind of like want to go back to divine, to the source now. So I've got a lot of work to do in this lifetime. So I've still got another 50 plus odd years of helping people on their spiritual path, on their journey, and helping them remember.
Would you use the phrase self-enlightenment in that context?
Yeah, it is kind of like self-enlightenment. It is really remembering, because as I said, we know why we come to Earth. We make a conscious decision as to why we are born, but we forget about it. So if we start remembering why we are here, what our mission, what our purpose is, and how we can get there, then we actually start changing not just our vibration, but the vibration of Earth, the vibration of others, because it has that butterfly knock-on effect, which in a way is not just helping you, but it's helping others, and it's helping the planet raise in their vibration. So the more people that remember and step into their power, the sooner we all sort of like, are self-enlightened. We know what we're doing. We know we're going. We can go back to source ourselves if we so choose, and that we don't have to keep coming back to Earth. or to another planet or dimension or whatever, we can just go back and go, just going to kick back now and just chill out.
What have you noticed the amount of phraseology to do with the Earth resonating at a certain frequency, and people are starting to be more aware of this?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've kind of like moved out of the 3D now. We've skipped the 4D, and we've kind of like gone into the 5D now, and we can raise so much quicker if we choose. And more people are waking up now. Hence why we've got so much discord and things that don't seem right going on in the world at the moment. Why there's all the confusion and chaos and everything. It's like the old ways of living, the old ways of being are crumbling. No, I wouldn't say the old ways. The ways that we've been living in modern times. And when I say modern times, I'm literally talking about hundreds of years modern times, are slowly crumbling away now. And again, Emily actually summed up quite nicely. It's like those that the old guard are desperately trying to put their fingers in the hole. It's like in the dam. But every time they put their finger in one hole in the dam, another one opens, because there's more and more people that are waking up and going, actually, there's more to this than, you know, being born, working all my life until I die. And, you know, and just might have family, might have some money, might do this, but I'm working all the time for somebody else, following their rules, what they're giving them money, rather than actually living their own autonomous self, making the money, but keeping the money for themselves and for their communities and the benefit of others, the other people around them, so that poverty, discord just disappears. So more and more people are waking up, and the energy of Earth of Gaia is raising now, is getting higher and higher. So the old sort of like 3D world really is beginning to crumble now, which is beautiful. Bit chaotic, you know, but we have to rise above the fear and the anger and go, it's happening. There's a reason why it's happening, and it is for our good. And things are going to be so much nicer, you know, on the other side. We just have to batten down the hatches, don't get angry, don't get scared, and just stay with a smile on their face and help others.
Exactly. It's also in part for the question I just asked you about the energy of the Earth. It's the polarities have shifted because of the Earth's axis and stuff like that, and also the solar energy that's coming in. It's all affecting people and polarizing them. And those that are of a higher vibration, do you think is helping them find their self-enlightenment due to these energy shifts?
Yes. Yeah. So definitely the self-enlightenment will help them, you know, navigate the things that are going on at the moment. Again, it's taken that time to go within, to actually go, okay, why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? How can I raise my vibration? How can I raise the vibration of those around me to actually truly create the life I want? And when you start tapping into that and you start remembering why you're here and why you're doing that, you automatically start changing the energy around you, and you start to be less fearful, and you start to feel more control of your life. You know, you actually take charge of your destiny.
Yeah, it's learning about trusting oneself again, isn't it?
Yeah, totally, rather than relying on state or somebody else telling you what you should and shouldn't be doing.
Yeah. That's noticed from Elaine, and welcome everybody. We're doing just going to ask that. But today Rae was supposed to be having an interview with somebody, but things happened and they didn't turn up. So Rae and I got together, and I'm asking Rae questions. So if you've got any questions for Rae, type it in and we'll stick it up. But from Elaine Watton, how do you receive spirit, Rae? Hearing, seeing, or feeling?
Okay. Mine is knowing. is the answer. Is the answer one? I've never really seen spirit. Well, I've seen shades and flashes and brief things. And my cat Gypsy who passed. I've nearly tripped over a couple of times. On the staircase or whatever. I do occasionally, if I'm really in a relaxed mood, especially if I'm falling to sleep, I'll hear conversations going on. But mine is more of a knowing. It's kind of like if I start thinking too much about it, then it completely goes. If I don't think about it and I just go and I just accept and I just know, then that's how I connect. I connect with angels and spirits. So everybody has their own way. We all have a little bit of the sentience. Mine is a lot more of knowing and a little bit of feeling and a little bit of sound. But I'm very good at helping other people see, feel, hear, and know. About it to help them develop their talents to be able to do that. But me personally, Elaine, I just know.
Yeah. In fact, I love the word intuitive. It's all encompassing of everything that the human body physically can do, but also because of the connection you have with spirit and angel and that energy, as you say, it's knowing. And the Akashic, can you explain about the Akashic Records a little bit for those people that don't know?
Yeah, basically the Akashic Records are the records that hold the past, the present, and all future possibilities. Because no future is set in stone. We have a path that we choose to follow, but we have different steps off it that we can take to get back to the original one in the end. So our future is always full of possibilities. The future is never set in stone. Even when I take people into the future, if they might see themselves doing well, but if they don't follow the advice that their future selves gives them, they're not going to go there. So they then choose a different possibility. So the Akashic Records are the records of yourself, of Earth, of countries, of cities, that basically tell the whole story of their past, present, and all possible futures. And these, the information coming about from these, and again, this is everything that I've learned from Emily, is that they were originally on Earth. Okay, the Akashic Records are no longer physically on Earth, but they were on Earth in the form of crystals. So if you go back to Atlantis, to Lemuria, the Akashic Records were on Earth, but they were crystal forms, or if they were solid, the information was put into crystals. And when Atlantis and Lemuria fell, obviously the crystals were buried, but also the Akashic Records were taken off the Earth into higher dimensions. So we can tap into the Akashic Records by going into by connecting with our higher self, with the divine, going up into the Akashic Records in a different dimension. And we can all access our own records. If you give someone permission, they can access your records, but everyone has the ability to connect to their own Akashic Records. And Emily does a brilliant job of teaching that. But through guided meditation, I can take people into their Akashic Records so they get the information. So I'm not giving the information to them. They're going into their own Akashic Records. But with the Akashic Records, you have to ask questions, but you've got to ask the right questions. If you don't ask the right questions, you're not going to get the answers. that you need to help you move forward. In fact, you probably won't get any answers whatsoever with it. So you have to be very careful about how you ask the questions. And they're normally the questions you have to ask are kind of like the what, why, who, where, when, not the should, could questions. Questions where you need to work on the answers, no, yes or no. You need to know and you need to understand to work on it to move forward on your journey. But yeah, they're a great place to go into to help you on your journey, to help you move forward, to understand where you've come from and where you're going. And again, past life regression does that just as well. It can take you back to previous lifetimes to not only heal and clear those, but also to gain information that you can use in your current life. You might have been a gifted horse rider in a previous lifetime. You connect into the energy, you could become a horse rider now. Not that I really agree with riding horses, but kind of like that's kind of like the thing with it.
Yeah. I'm fascinated in how you got into the meditation aspects. Thanks, Eric. Hey, I just do it from spirit. But the meditation, I've seen you do a lot on all your shows that you do, which is why I came in today, because I'm having a break. But how did you get into the meditation technique? What do you normally do prior, during, and after?
Again, it's one of those things that just kind of like fell into place. And again, I have to look back to my childhood to see where it came from. I've always been a storyteller. I'm an avid reader. I can get through a book really quickly, and I was reading from a very early age. But I've also loved making up stories. Imagination is so brilliant, and I've always loved storytelling, whether that's making up stories or reading stories or even hearing other people's stories. So I think that's kind of like why I love doing it, why I ended up doing meditation, because I'm helping someone tell their story. So with the guided meditations, I create a journey for them, a story for them to go and explore, to get the answers they need, to know about, to be who they are. Quite sometimes they go off in a completely different direction to the journey that I've created, the story that I'm telling. But the story is to get them into that space. And then with the past life, the future life, and obviously divine presence, where I take people to the virtual spiritual retreat of Corel, again, I'm giving them a story, a journey on how to get there. And then when they get there, I'm asking them questions for them to tell their story of what's happening, what's going on, and what they need to know, what they need to understand. So it was kind of like a gradual thing. It wasn't, oh, I'm going to start doing meditations. It just kind of, again, like all these things, it just, when you're in the right energy flow, it just sort of like comes in. But when you look back to your childhood. So I always say to people, if you want to find out what your gifts, your talents are, what you can be good at, look back to your childhood. What did you love doing? What were you passionate about? Did you have a brilliant imagination? Did you like storytelling? Did you like playing in the garden? Did you like playing in the kitchen? Your childhood and what you enjoyed doing is always an indication of what you can do in a way to help you with your growth on your spiritual path. So again, if you've got children now, what do your children enjoy doing? Because that'll be an indication of where they could possibly go to remember their divine presence, to remember their journey, why they are here. So that's something worth thinking about. If you've got children yourself, what do they enjoy? What are they passionate about? And then you can help them with that, and they'll remember earlier, so they'll actually be happier and freer walking their path and not falling into this trap that we do with humanity.
Well, I could listen to you all day for that. That was fantastic. But I also want to go on about Salisbury. You travel over there a lot. Now, do you go to Stonehenge or just to the tour, or what
No.
fascination you've got?
Yeah. Stonehenge, I visited once, but obviously, I'm not old enough to have actually gone to the stones themselves. I'm not saying a word, Graham. You made that face, not me.
No, I did it for you. I gave you the spear. Yeah.
But yeah, no. I mean, I would love to go and do, go up and spend time in them, and it's a shame that I can't. But I love when I go down to Glastonbury. I love the fact that when you go past Stonehenge, you have to go slowly. I love the way that the road has been designed, where it goes from 2 lanes to 1 lane to 2 lanes, which means traffic has to slow down, which means everybody going past has to go past Stonehenge really quite slowly. So it's kind of like you get the impact of it. So yeah, I've always wanted to go to Stonehenge, and one day I'll have a private chance to go around there privately without, I could go down the solstice, but there's so lots of people. But one day I will get private viewing of there. But Glastonbury itself, I don't know. I do know. I don't know. I didn't know at the time why I liked going down there. But it was about 20 years ago that I started going. And I initially went down there because I had got to a point in my life where I didn't know where I was going or what I was doing. I was in a relationship. Did I want to stay in that relationship? What did I want to do? Where do I want to go? So I just got on the train and went down to Glastonbury, and the place just hooked me. It was like, okay, there's stuff here I need to do. So gradually over the years, I've done a lot of work on myself down there. I've met people. Down there. I've got to know people, and it's just an amazing energy. Not somewhere I'd want to live, but somewhere I like to visit. And I do remember going down there just before we had all the floods in this country, before we had the Somerset floods a few years ago. And I got down to Glastonbury, and it was like, I don't like this. The bus went down the high street, and there were shops closed. The energy wasn't quite right. I was actually up at the tour just trying to put energy back into the tour. It felt so depleted, so drained. And then we had all the Somerset, and I'm thinking, I don't know if I really want to come back again. But then we had the floods in Somerset, so everything got flooded, and it was Gaia's way of literally clearing out all the negative, because over the years people have gone there, and although the goddesses go around doing cleansing, people had taken so much energy from there that it was kind of like depleting it. So to me, the floods came in to actually, it was Gaia's way of going, right, I'm going to clear all this crap out and renew the energy. Because when I did go back down the following year, it was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. I really want to come back. But I was finding that there wasn't really a lot for me spiritually to do down there, or to work on myself. And I think it was about 3 years ago, I went down there, and I actually went to stay the same place I stayed at on my first ever visit to Glastonbury. Found my name in the visitors book. Yeah. And that was kind of like something for me to finish off. I mean, the weather was appalling. It rained. It wasn't the best weather in the world. It poured down with rain. And I got splashed by cars and whatever. But I got to find Wirial Hill, which I've never been able to find before. And that came about, and I went and saw a woman who unfortunately is no longer reading, because she was absolutely brilliant. And it turns out I've actually got Merlin lineage. Hence why I was so I've been so drawn to Glastonbury is because of the Merlin lineage. So, and also whilst I was down there, I was in the White Well. And as I was meditating, I was actually once one of the goddesses of the White Well. It was such an amazing experience, you know. It was kind of everything just disappeared, and it was just the well and myself and all these other goddesses, and the love was just so amazing. So yeah, that's why I kind of like think I've had this connection with Glastonbury because of the Merlin lineage and being a goddess down there in a previous lifetime.
Oh, wonderful. I noticed a couple of pointers from Bailin. What can we do to shift our prosperity experience as individual or as a collective?
Brilliant question, Bailin. And hi, Bailin. Thank you for watching. Bailin's really good as well. You want to?
Oh, no, she is. I remember.
You want to check her out. So, what can we do to shift our prosperity experiences individually? By taking time to go within and looking at what we have had, not looking at what other people have got. It's like taking our awareness to our center. What have I had in the past? What have I got now? You know, prosperity isn't just monetary. Prosperity is living life, enjoying life, being who you are supposed to be, your gifts. So I think to shift your perspective, it really is a case of going in, what have I got now? Being grateful. You know, what is in my life now? You know, can I breathe? Yes, I can breathe. Have I got food? Yes, I've got food. You know, can I see a tree? Yes, I can see. Can I see a tree? Can I get a nature? Yes, I'm getting nature. Nature is so abundant. And if we tap into the abundance of nature, we bring in the prosperity and abundance for ourselves. You know, live with the seasons, eat with the seasons, because that will help you get into that prosperity mindset, that abundance mindset, because that is how nature works. Nature is always abundant. And if we connect with nature and with ourselves, we can really change our perspective and bring abundance and prosperity into our lives, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Yeah. And Malik had to say something as well. I'm going to weekend retreat in Glastonbury in November.
Now, am I guessing, Malik, are you going to Alexandra Wenman's Alchemy one? Let me know if that's the one you're the one you're going to. I can't actually go because I've got other things going on, but I'd love to know if that's the one you're going to.
My tie with Glastonbury was to do with all the ley lines and the vortices and vortexes and trans-dimensional gateways and stuff like that, and talking with druids. This is a long time ago. But what do you think about the culture of the druid relationship with Glastonbury and Stonehenge?
It's not something I've ever really thought about because although I'm of Merlin lineage, Druidism
Exactly
hasn't really resonated that much. Maybe it's because it's different to how it was when I was down there, possibly. But I think the Druids have a very important part to play in keeping the balance of Gaia. As long as they're working from the heart and for Gaia, then they're doing an absolutely wonderful job. If then, and they're not letting the politics and everything get involved in it, and they're keeping it community, etc. Then I think Druids are, absolutely brilliant. And the fact that they can, because of what they do, they can get people access to Stonehenge on the solstices is really, it's really good. So I've really got nothing for or against Druids. They they are there. They're guardians, really. The way I look at it, they're guardians.
Now, I'm going to take it a little bit to the side, especially with what Keith Bernard Abbott's just stated. You know, the late Queen was crowned Queen of the Druids before she became crowned Queen of England. Again, this energy that was balanced before, what do you think the energy shift's going to be like now?
I think the energy shift is going to be more. It is going to be a lot more balanced. We've kind of like originally it was very female orientated, but then it became very masculine. Rather than being in balance, and it's gradually becoming, but it's gradually coming back into balance now, as it should be, because we're all equal, you know, men, women, you know, they are all equal. So the masculine and feminine energy is a balance now, and it will be coming into a balance, which will allow for nurturing. It will allow for community, for things to be done within community. You know, so decisions won't be solely based on one person, you know, being in charge, you know, and stating, you know, this is what it is. It'll be a community. It won't be like Parliament, because again, that's all, and we can go on a whole different subject on that one. Yeah. No, we
material.
Yeah, we definitely won't. We definitely won't go there. But the community, but if we can get into those community shifts again, that community identity again, it's going back to the original state. When it was balanced, you know, there was a time when it was balanced, then it was a little bit more feminine, then it became more masculine. Unfortunately, I think it's been more masculine more time, for much longer than it was feminine, but we're gradually seeing more feminine stuff come in, but we don't want to overshadow and take the masculine out completely. It has to be a balance. So you need to have the feminine energy and the masculine energy, and it's not the feminine trying to be masculine or the masculine trying to be feminine. It is just being male or female.
Because it's like the cycles of the weather and the cycles of the climate, because they are cycles, even though we're still trying to interpret them. And with this global warming, it's another cycle which has been exacerbated by man, and I'm saying both sexes. But what do you think about the future with the planet, the way things are going?
Again, all future is possibility. The future that I've seen and where I've taken people into is a positive future. You know, the air is cleaner, breathable. Earth still exists in her beauty. We're not all shut up in towers and, you know, built cities, not able to go outside, etc. We still have the freedom and the fresh air to go out and be ourselves, you know. And I've seen that, and other people have seen that. But again, it's that collective energy, and it's enough people remembering their divine presence that's going to bring that about, that's going to bring that into place. And yes, global warming, we have exaggerated it, but that's not but we haven't done that as individuals. That has been done by companies and corporations. Us as individuals have not created this situation. You know, we might contribute it when we throw rubbish. You know, we use plastic bags and we throw rubbish and stuff like that. But we're not the cause. Big business, big corporation, they are the cause of the pollutants that have gone into the air, into the atmosphere, not us as individuals. But Gaia is so brilliant, you know. She will cleanse and clear as she feels fit, you know. Unfortunately, volcanic eruptions, typhoons, you know, forest fire, you know, everything like that. floods, like the floods are in Somerset, Guy will always find a way of getting herself back into balance. And so long as we remember that and we respect her for that, and we as individuals, do our bit, we don't have to do everything. We need to technically be getting onto the big corporations, the big companies around the world, and telling them to stop polluting the air. But to do that, we need to stop relying on all the stuff that they create for us.
Yeah. We love growing our own vegetables, but it's harder in Florida than it is in England. But I know it's getting close to the time. What's that? Record energies in nature. That's well put, Keith. Thank you. Well put. But I know around about this time, you normally ask your guest, would they like to do meditation or card? And as I don't have cards, this one's a throwback to you here, Rae. Do you have your cards with you?
Funny enough, look, they're right by my side.
Well, I know this might be unusual, but why don't you give yourself a reading? I'll tell you when to take the card out.
Okay.
Just one
and this one jumps out.
Well, two cards then.
Okay. So this card is not just for me. It's for Graham and everyone watching. So what does myself and everyone here need to know for their highest good at this moment in time? What does everyone, myself?
No.
Oh, look at that one. That one just. And absolutely perfect. Navigating by the stars. Follow your bliss.
Right, before you say anything, today's show should have been about an interview with somebody that couldn't come today. So Rae and I got talking to do the show, and I am interviewing Rae today. So that's why Rae's been doing all the talking. So this time, navigating by the stars, follow your bliss. And what's your interpretation, Rae?
Well, my interpretation of that is that we should be we should be doing what lights us up, what makes us happy, what do we want to bring into the world, what star are we following, following yonder star, what map, what star system, what do we want to navigate, where do we want to go, what do we want to be curious about? That path is there for us, and in the card it shows it shows you the path and the stars, and that path is there for us all to navigate and go along. And if we stay within our bliss, we follow what truly lights us up. We remember what our divine is. We go with the flow, with what we need to know. Then that path will be so easy to navigate. The stars will be shining in the right direction. We'll just be following that path perfectly. So what they're saying is, go within what lights you up. Follow your bliss. Go where you need to go, not where others are telling you to go or you think you should go. Where you're being guided to go by your higher self, by your inner self, by your inner knowing, whatever that may be. Yeah, and just follow your bliss. And the path will be so straightforward for you, and the stars will just light your way.
That was beautiful, because last night I was 2:22 in the morning in Florida.
Brilliant time.
And wanted to go outside. So I took my camera. And there was the moon, almost full. And right next to it was a planet. And it was so bright, I actually could get the picture. But it's navigating by the stars. I always go to the moon because of the cycles that does. It's regular. It helps breathe that energy. And when you do your cards and everything, you can feel that energy coming from you. And I'm glad I got the opportunity to listen to you today. And I hope everybody's enjoyed what's been happening. And is there anything else you would like to say, Rae? You got
Yeah.
any questions, anybody? Yeah.
Yeah, if no one's got any other questions, then a final words of wisdom.
Okay, let's go for that.
We'll go for the words of wisdom. So words of wisdom I would give to anyone watching is
let it go.
Let it go. No, that's for Wednesday.
No, that's for Keith.
Oh yeah, did you let it go? Well done, Keith. Well done. We like that. So yeah. So my final words are wisdom, apart from let it go, are that now is the time to start remembering. Now is the time to actually look back. What do I enjoy doing? What did I enjoy doing? What is my bliss? What am I here to do? You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be something like I do or something like Graham does. It could be that you are here to cook the most marvelous meals for people, you know, to lift their spirits by beautiful meals. You know, it could be that you're here to help your children remember their divine presence, help them on their path. So when you remember what you enjoy, what lights you up, you will find your own bliss and you will be so happy for it. You won't worry about what's going on in the world. And don't let fear hem you down. There is no fear. Everything is fine. You just have to follow your bliss.
That's a lovely statement, that one. Because I'm nosy inquisitive, I should say, not nosy. And the fear factor, everybody's afraid of something. Hang on. That is not me. That is typical Florida weather. It's the afternoon and we're getting our thunderstorms.
Hey!
But the fear of the unknown is a human trait.
Yes.
And that's why this self-enlightenment, Akashic, I can never say Akashic Records. I get the words screwed. I'm partly dyslexic. What can I say? But it's also understanding the not knowing is our adventure. The fear of the unknown and what we've learned and what we bring with us. Do you allow the past to control us? That is the fear. Or do you want to enlighten yourself by following those stars, navigating by the stars? Let's put this down.
Yeah, so Balin says, love this so much. Thank you for all the wonderful reminders. You're welcome, Balin. And Keith says, sounds like thunder here. I am. How do you do? And
that was that energy cleansing. You're saying about the floods in England?
Mm-hmm.
I live in Florida, and you've got the Atlantic on one side swirling round, and you've got the Gulf swirling round. And we're a bar magnet.
Yeah.
Because of all the crystal, all the sands on either side, it charges up. So that's why we get all this intense lightning capital of the world. Yesterday, I had 1,000 lightning strikes in an hour.
Wow.
But this is that cleansing. This is that energy saying we're washing away all the negativity. We're starting afresh. We need water to grow. And being here with you and everybody having a laugh, this is what enlightenment's about. Being at peace with our lives now. And you embodied that today with all that you've stated. And I want to really deeply thank you for allowing me to I have no clue what I was going to ask you. Okay, now what do I?
Literally, Graham came on about 10 minutes before I was going to go live.
I was scared of, can I ask the right questions? Can I do the right thing? But that fear entirely, pushes me to say, open your mouth and trust your intuition. Trust yourself. You've got all that past and you've amplified that. Your past has made you what you are today. and take charge of your destiny right above your head. You know, you can't have some more. And we do want to thank everybody for coming in. This is not, well, it's our first show like this ever.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm a stand-in this time.
And you did an absolutely brilliant job.
Did ask some scary questions.
Well, Susie says it was a fab interview, you know, and Susie's been a you know, been a viewer for a long time.
I'll pay you later for that, Susie. You take dollars. Oh.
So before the storm kind of like chucks Graham out, I'm going to close the show as I would normally close the show. So if you are ready to remember your divine presence and step into your spiritual multidimensional path, but you feel lost, confused, stuck or alone, then please feel free to connect with me and we can arrange a free video call to discuss where you are now and how you can move forward to take charge of your destiny so that you can spread your wings and soar. And please feel free to join my weekly newsletter and receive a free future life progression recording where I take you into a future lifetime to get guidance and clarity that you can use in your current life, as well as a couple of other free gifts. Again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for joining in, and thank you, Graham, for doing the interview.
And we're doing the same again on Wednesday.
I'm just about to get to that. So I'd like to invite you to share this video, as I'm sure there are more people who feel lost and want to get clear on their destiny just like you. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, then please feel free to subscribe and hit the bell button to be notified of when the show goes live or I post new guided meditations. And yes, as Graham said, so what's actually, I want to see what Keith says. Don't live in the past, keep moving forward to go. I like that, Keith. I like that very much. Suze likes what you said.
Thanks, Suze.
And Aletha says, thank you both. And thank you so much, Aletha, for joining us. Aletha's also been a guest on my show as well. Check her out as well.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of your shows.
Yeah. Yeah, she is really good. Yes, and as Graham said, Wednesday, I know it looks Lavinia that we were doing it, but we weren't. So Wednesday, join us at 7 p.m. UK time, because Graham and I will be going live in our Angels and Spirits show. So if you do want a chance of a reading, you will need, ideally, be watching the show before 8 o'clock and get your name down and say that you'd like a reading. Because after 8 o'clock, it's kind of like starts narrowing down that you can actually have a reading. And I look forward to seeing you all same time, same place next week. Take care. And again, thank you so much, Graham. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.